He'll swing it around to King. King about 30 feet away from the basket. Gives it off in the left corner now to Yates. Yates can't penetrate, and he loses the dribble out of bounds. Turnover Toledo, unofficially their second. Again, Nooksack Valley starting Skillman, Handy, Mitchell, Hobbs, and Zavala. And the shortest one in the lineup is 6 foot. And then they go up from there, including all the way to 6'8" and Mitchell. Right now he's trying to post in the middle. Nearly called with a 3-second lane call as he had pretty much set up camp in there. Zavala fronting him. Off the dribble, off through the left wing for the three that rims in and out. Hobbs kept it alive, but Zavala will corral, Zamorano will corral it for Toledo. And the Toledo Indians working at the basket to our left. Here in the first half, we have 6:29 to play, second quarter. Boys semifinals, 1A tournament from the Sun Dome in Yakima. Left wing, King pulls up, 17-footer. It went about 17 and a half, but there to clean up the board is Yates, and Yates will be fouled by Zavala of Nooksack Valley. Today's game here on KMNT, brought to you by L&E Bottling, your soft drink distributor of choice. Zavala chases Rocco's out front. Now they give it to King, and he gives to Vota. They try to get him into a double team, but can't do it. Here's King down the lane, leaves it underneath. Zamorano missed the lay-in. He was in the tall timber that time, and King, one of the leading assist men here in the tournament, nearly had another one there. So we were 13-9 at the end of the quarter. We've played 2:10 of the second period, and nobody's been able to find the range. Looking to the high post, hands it right back in the corner instead to Handy. Handy out front, Zavala. Back to Handy on the right wing. He's guarded there by Rocco. Up top, down low to Hobbs. Hobbs swatted on the play. Offensive foul as Hobbs backs his way along the low post. And the big fella, kind of a Brian Urlacher kind of looking dude, is picked up his second foul. And that would be a big lift if Toledo could get either Mitchell or Hobbs in foul trouble. Right now, Hobbs with 2. King at the point guard spot down the left lane into the left corner. Now to Rocco to the high post. He plays catch with Yates. They try to trap Rocco's. They can't do it. Off to Vota. Down the lane. Pulls up. 13-footer around and in for Ryan Vota. He is one smooth operator. Ryan Vota now with 7 points and the lead back up to 6 for Toledo. Nooksack Valley in their purple uniforms with white and black trim. Toledo in their home whites with black and red trim. Alley-oop in the middle, double teamed, and off to Hobbs. Hobbs shot, no, Mitchell lays it in, however. There's that size advantage inside as Mitchell corrals the loose ball. He's 6'8", but only his first 2 of the night, as Toledo has done a pretty good job on it. Right side, Vota thought about taking the 3, doesn't pull the trigger. Takes a skip pass, back to King, back to Vota, back to King. Zavala will challenge out front with a close guard. He will be the chaser. Off to Vota to King. 4:14 to play, second quarter, 15-11. Each team with a bucket here in the second period. Now the cross-court pass picked off by Handy. He will run down and flip it off the glass. And what do we got? A traveling violation against Handy. Toledo's lead is 4. We're halfway through the second quarter. King looks right, bounces right to Rocco's. Rocco's in the corner to Vota, fakes the 3, and he travels. And the ball will come back the other way. Again, we welcome those people who have been listening to the White Pass game. White Pass, an easy winner over St. George, 72-48. Here it's Toledo 15, Nooksack Valley 11. Trying to get it in the post. They go to Hobbs, and Hobbs taps it from going out of bounds, and it ends up as a turnover because Vota comes in and picks off the pass. So the Indians on the attack down to the left. Rocco's down the lane. Penetrates, gives to Vota out front, about 25, now backing up to 30 feet away. Down into the right corner, and he's chased out of there. Back to King. King will give to Vota. Thinks about the 3, gives it to King. Now the left side, Rocco's. He'll put it up, partially blocked, and the rebound to Hobbs. Hobbs of Nooksack Valley gives to his teammate, Rich Skillman, one of the three guards in the lineup. Cross court, Zavala pulls up, 13-footer, good. Zavala, Efren, his first two. And it's 15-13 as Toledo only getting the one field goal thus far here in the second quarter. However, only two field goals for the Pioneers from Nooksack Valley. Here's King down the lane, slices, dices, put it up from 7, and it comes high off the glass on the rebound. Nooksack Valley down to the right can tie it up. Handy, 14-footer off the glass, good. We're tied. On the Skillman bank shot, tied at 15 at the 2:10 mark of the second quarter. Nooksack Valley and Toledo battling here in the boys 1A semifinal. Down the lane, Botok gives to Rockos, now right side to King. King back to Rockos between the circles. Botok left corner, and his shot will be swatted out of bounds by Skillman. Meanwhile, Mitchell, Zavala, and Skillman have scored 6 for Nooksack Valley in the quarter. We're tied at 15, a minute 45 to play, and here's a blocking foul call, this one on Handy. Here's Vota underneath, comes all the way up and under, laid it up, no, ball tapped out, kept alive, picked up, outlet pass, up, breakaway, lay-in, good for Nooksack Valley's Rich Skillman. He has 4 points in the quarter, 9 for the half, and the lead goes over to the Nooksack Valley Pioneers. 1:20 and counting in the second quarter. Toledo backing away from the 2-3 zone. Near center jump circle is King. King yo-yos the dribble, now heads down the right side. Spin move to the free throw line, 15-footer off the back iron, and Toledo has gone cold here in the second quarter, only 2 points. Here's Zavala, pulls up, doesn't shoot, goes down low. Yates there to pick it off. They got a man at the other end, Rockos. Rockos can't back in, goes up with a turnaround. It's no good, a little bit short. Probably should have waited for the rest of the troop to show up, but they didn't. Here's Skillman down the lane, running one-hander, good. Skillman taking over here in the second quarter. A couple of pretty good guards, Skillman and Handy for Nooksack Valley. Handy, however, has not scored here tonight, but 11 points for Skillman. The lead is 4 for the Pioneers from Nooksack Valley. And it looks like Toledo might play for the final shot of the half. We're down to 19 seconds and counting. 19-15. Toledo trails. They've been up by as many as 6 points. Here's Botaw with 8, 7, 6. Out front, Rockos, they've got to shoot. King with 3, with 2, a long 3 on the way. It's off the lip of the iron, and the two teams will head to the locker room for the first half break. Valley will have possession as we get ready to begin play. Skillman, Handy, Zavala, Mitchell, and Hobbs. And for Toledo, it'll be King, Bota, Rockos, Zamorano, and Yates. 19-15, Nooksack Valley with the lead and the basketball. Hobbs backs his way around, turns in, and fires a 7-footer a little bit short. Comes off the glass to King. King up the left sideline to Yates. He'll give to Bota. Again, Toledo scoring the first 2 points of the second quarter, but they go 7 minutes without any additional. They're down by 4 here. Nooksack Valley in a sagging zone. This Nooksack Valley squad had their hands full with Cashmere last night. Cashmere was eliminated by the team that Toledo took apart last night. University and the Pumas went packing, or the Pumas are playing for trophies tomorrow. And Cashmere, the team that lost to Nooksack Valley, is going home. Maybe at home by now. A minute gone here in the second half, 19-15. Toledo with the basketball, trying to overhaul this 2-3 zone. Yates out front, he'll back away and flip it to the left side to Rockos. Rockos dribbles once, gives to King. King down to the baseline, here's a 2-on-1. Yates gives it up in the middle, the ball deflected out away. As Yates, boy, they may have gotten away with an over and back there as Yates lost the handle on it, went into backcourt. He went and picked it up. Here's a slicing, dicing move down the left side of the paint by Vota. He can't get the shot to go, but he will go to the line and shoot a pair of free throws. Good penetration by Ryan Vota for Toledo. A 6'1 senior. Again, 6'1", 6'2", 6'2", the tallest player for Toledo. And for Nooksack Valley, they have Hobbs at 6'6" and Mitchell at 6'8". Picture perfect on both by Vota. He has 9 of the 17 points for Toledo, and the Nooksack Valley lead has been cut to 2. The in backcourt goes right side, Zavala. Toledo in a man defense, trying to front up the two big players, Mitchell and Hobbs, in the post. Out front, Skillman. Left side, Zavala. Zavala back to Skillman, off top of the bubble. Looks to shoot, doesn't. Goes right side instead to Handy. Handy, left side, Skillman. Pulls up, 18-footer off the glass, short. And a rebounding foul called. It's on Nooksack Valley. Over the back foul on the Pioneers. Not in serious difficulty, but one more could put one of them on the bench. And Toledo not in that run-and-gun style of basketball that they played the first 2 days. Here's Vota off the glass, count the basket and a foul, and we're all tied up. As Vota took it into the timbers that time and just reached up and banked one off from the left side. 5:37 to go. Shot no good. Rebound down to Mitchell, and it's stolen away by Vota. He goes, shot swatted. He brings it back out, lines up for the three. Good! Vota with a triple. And Toledo takes a 3-point lead, 22-19, right now on a 7-0 run to begin the third quarter. We've played nearly 3 minutes. Here's Zavala. His shot comes off long. Rebounded on the long side by Vota of Toledo. Up court quickly. Yates with a three. Short. Rebound tapped out to the corner to Mitchell. Mitchell up court. Open. Handy. Lay in. No, he missed it as Vota bothered the shot. And Zamorano down with a rebound. Waits and hands to King. And King will walk the basketball up court left to right on your 104.3 FM dial. KMNT Country. And you've got the home of the boys. 1A. State basketball semifinals tonight from Yakima. On the right wing is Yates. Yates standing about 10 feet away from a broadcast table. Gives to King in the far corner to Rocco's. Underneath, Rocco's elevates, puts it up off the glass too hard. And the rebound down to Zavala. Zavala out of backcourt. Gives on the right side to Skillman. Skillman with the 11 points of the first half. Leads his team. However, they have not scored in the first 4 minutes of this third quarter, and they find themselves trailing Toledo by 3. Low in the post, Hobbs back to Zavala. Out front to Handy. Handy skips it across to the high post, down to Hobbs. Backdoor pass to Zavala. Ball out of his hands. Going the other way. Toledo basketball. Right now they've got some 1A super playoff specials. Cedar Village IGA. Toledo basketball. King in the front court. Guarded by Zavala. Out of the center jump circle here on the old Kingdome court. The wood court out of the Kingdome. Behind the back pass. Holy smokes. King lays it underneath. And the lay in by Rocco's, and it's 24-9. Holy smokes. King was inside with triple coverage, and he wrapped one behind his back and found his man along the low post. The best assist we've seen in the tournament. What an exciting play. On the assist by Jason King. He's one of the assist leaders in this tournament, and now you know why. Indians right now on a 9-0 run to start this third quarter. Here's Yates off to Vota. Back to Rocco's. He'll give to King. King down the lane, kicks it back out. Three on the way. It is no good. And the rebound down inside by Hobbs of Nooksack Valley, and the foul called on Toledo. We played 5 minutes of this third quarter, and Nooksack Valley has been unable to score in the period. Here's a three, and they will get it undone now. On the three ball by Handy, they left him open, and he scores it. 24-22, Toledo's 5-point lead cut to 2 on the three by Brett Handy. Ball in the right corner. Votaw down the paint he goes. Gives it on the left baseline. A little 5-foot jumper. Up and good by Rockos. Talon Rockos his fourth point. 26-22 Toledo. 2:25 to play in the third quarter from Yakima. Zavala on the right wing. Comes up top down to Handy. Back to Zavala. He comes to Hobbs. He looks to the low post, but Mitchell being fronted. They come to Zavala. His shot no good. Hobbs with a rebound. Off to Handy. His shot no good. Hobbs puts it back up. No good. Mitchell taps it up. They had 4 chances. Count them. 4 chances. None of them would go. And Toledo there to clean it up. 26-22 under 2 remaining here in quarter number 3 from the boys tournament in Yakima. King terminates the dribble and now a KMNT. That one brought to you by GC. Go clear over to the scorer's table across the way. Repair at a 24-hour restaurant. They're in Bigfoot country, you know. Off exit 57 in Toledo. GC's truck stop. Here's Votaw all the way up and under. Wraps to Zamorano and his ball goes out of bounds. One too many passes that time. Had the right idea, but couldn't complete the deal. Zamorano loses the ball out of bounds underneath. And it'll belong to Nooksack Valley. 1:38 to play, third quarter, 26-22 Toledo. Here's a give and go. Handy, cross court, Hobbs out for the 3 by Skillman. Short, King there with a rebound for Toledo. One and done were the Pioneers. Rocco's on the far wing, comes up top to Yates. Yates pushed out of there by Mitchell. No foul. Gives to Rocco's. He'll come to King. King down the lane, skips a pass. Oh, he skipped it a little too flat. He skipped it from beyond the three-point arc, down low in that low post, just inside the paint. And the ball came a little bit too flat for Yates to handle, and they lose it out of bounds for the second consecutive possession. 26-22. Here's a 2-on-1 break. Mitchell gives to Handy, leans in, good. Handy with all 5 of Nooksack Valley's points here in the third quarter. And it's 26-24, Toledo's lead 2, as they have been unable to get a decent shot here in their last 2 possessions because of their turnovers. King down the lane, stops at the free throw line, comes back out to Votaw, and Toledo may be playing for the final shot, even though 37 seconds is a long ways to go. They may try to hold it
just
here.
When we thought they might run it down, they pulled the trigger on it, and I'll tell you,
the lead
it
going
was
to
the right
the
thing to do because
Rocco's
King had
nearly
the wide
double
open.
team. Gives it off
Free
to King.
throw line
jumper. No.
go down.
Rebound down, and a foul is going to be on Votaw, I believe, of Toledo. And the second team foul. So now with 20 seconds to go in the third, Nooksack Valley could tie it, trailing by 2, or take the lead with a 3. Into the high post. Handy. Down to 10 seconds. 9 seconds. Zavala.
Welcome back to the Sun Dome here in Yakima. The Toledo Indians have a 2-point lead as we get ready to go to the fourth quarter.
Handy made his
in the third period. Toledo,
they come outside.
scoring
back
Nooksack Valley.
3, 2, 1. Shot at the buzzer.
11-5.
And Toledo will
All
go to the
5
fourth
of the
quarter with
points
a
for
2-point
Nooksack
lead.
Valley via Brett Handy. He hit a 3 and a 2.
Most of the points for Toledo in the third quarter were from Votaw. As the Toledo Indians trigger it in, somebody is going to the state finals tomorrow night to play for the championship. Right now, Toledo with the ball and a 2-point lead as Rocco's has it on the right wing. They flip it around to Yates, now to Votaw in the far corner. Pulls up, can't shoot, comes to Rocco's. Rocco's in the near corner, Zamorano. Back to Rocco's, and they'll spin it around and rotate the opposite direction. Here's Votaw, flips one up off the glass, and he's fouled on his way to the glass. Is going to be on Skillman, his second foul. So Toledo will inbound. 4 team fouls on Nooksack Valley, 3 team fouls on Toledo. 26-24. King will trigger it in, looks to the corner and gets it there. As bringing it out of the quarter will be Yates. Yates terminates the dribble and loops a pass out front to King. Now the right side to Votaw. Votaw standing about 25 feet away from the basket. They swing it back out front to Rocco's and now to King. Zamorano and Skillman providing the chase at the guards out front defensively for Nooksack Valley. Here's Rocco's down the lane, back to King. King in the far corner terminates the dribble and a holding foul on Nooksack Valley. That'll be team foul number 5. Votaw leading the way for Toledo. He has 14. Ball out front, Rocco's. Rocco's will give it between circles to Yates. Now to Rocco's on the right wing to King. King Gives a pass into the left corner. Now backs away out of the defensive pressure of Skillman. He gets chased out front, nearly into a double team. Then gives to Rocco. We've played a minute 15 of this third quarter, and Nooksack Valley has yet to get their hands on the ball offensively. Neither team has scored. Here's King down the lane, 13-foot pull-up, around and off. Tough luck roll and a jump ball called as the tallest player on the floor comes down with a rebound. He brings it down, and he's tied up by the shortest player. And the possession arrow will flip back the other way here shortly. So Nooksack Valley with the basketball. Trailing by 2, they work at the basket to our left. Zavala out between the circles. They won't even come out and challenge him. They'll let him dribble around out there all day. They finally go in the middle. Ball flipped out of the hands of Handy, and then a jump ball called, and the possession arrow is going the opposite way this time. Toledo, on the other hand, turned it over 4 times in the first half and 3 times in the third quarter for a game total of 7. 26-24. Nooksack Valley trailing Toledo by 2. And nobody has scored here in the first 2 minutes of quarter number 4 in the boys 1A semifinal game, the first of 2 semis tonight. Yates to Rocco's, to Yates to King. King will spin out front with a dribble. Off on the left wing now. He flips the pass to Rocco's, now to King. King between circles, being chased by Zavala. Will give the basketball to Rocco's, and he will bounce to King. Down the lane he goes, but he's cut off, chased back out of there. And the clock shows 5:33 to play. Here's Votaw along the left baseline, and what? A travel. Turnover. Toledo, their 4th of the half. 5:28 to play. Tonight's game being brought to you by Denny McNally, your Farmers Insurance agent in Toledo. Farmers, they get you back where you belong. So the second possession of this fourth quarter by Nooksack Valley. They turned it over the first time. Here's Handy on the right wing. Pulls up. 15-footer. Good. Skillman with a basket. We're tied at 26. Toledo 26. Nooksack Valley 26. Toledo running a spread floor here on the offensive ends of all the chases. They give to Rocco. Rocco's back over to the left side against this 2-3 zone. Again, they have their big 3 in the middle defensively, back on the low post. Mitchell right in the middle at 6'8". Hobbs plays the right side at 6'6". And here's Rocco's up at the high post, pulls up, 14-footer, good. Rocco's unties it. Talon Rocco's makes it 28-26 with 4:25 to play. Into the high post, left side. Now the right side to Zavala. Hobbs on the right baseline. They swing it around as we're nearly halfway through this fourth quarter. 28-26, Toledo by 2. Zavala in the far corner. Mitchell, their big 6'8 player, has only 2 points here tonight. On their right wing, Skillman. Skillman being guarded by King. Goes baseline, pulls up, 18-footer, skips it off, and Yates can't handle the rebound. 3:56 showing on the fourth quarter clock. 28-26, Toledo by 2. Here's Zavala thinking about a 3, doesn't take it, instead comes to Skillman, who gives to Handy. Handy has been quiet other than in that third quarter. In the corner left, Skillman down the lane, jump right-hander. Tough move by Rich Skillman. Skillman and Handy have all of the points in the third and fourth quarters. Handy had 5 of them in the third period, and now Skillman with all 4 of them here in the fourth. We're tied at 28, 3:25 to go, and King will put the ball on his hip and wait for the purple and white to come out and pick him up. They'll let him run it down here and play for the final shot, although 3.5 minutes, I doubt it. Yates in front of the Toledo bench across the way. Gary Ike with clipboard in hand, sitting, strategizing along with his head coach, Scott Berzoin, on what we're going to do here, and they're just going to let him play catch out front. Zavala tries to intercept. They come to Rocco's on the right wing. Under 3 to play. Toledo 28, Nooksack Valley 28. Rocco's gives to King. Now the left side to Yates. He'll give to King. King backs away and gives to Votaw, and Nooksack Valley not coming out to challenge here in a 28-all tie. And I can guarantee you that Toledo would love nothing more than to see Nooksack Valley stand back here and not come out and let them run it down and play for the final shot and potentially a win. Although, again, 3 minutes, not the kind of runoff you're going to want. But again, if Nooksack Valley doesn't come out and challenge it, I'm not so sure it's a bad strategy. Although anytime you stop looking to attack the glass, more often than not, it comes around to haunt you. Although this is a very well-disciplined Toledo basketball team. Here's King, off to Yates, who gives to Rocco. Rocco's backs away, penetrates halfway to the corner to our right, then comes to King. King back to Rocco's with 1:45 to go, and Scott Brazoy says, yeah, we've run a lot. Let's call the timeout. 30-second timeout. Thank you for joining along with us here tonight. Larry Miner along with KJ. With 1:44 to go, Nooksack Valley is now going to come out and challenge defensively. They have Zamorano wide open underneath. If they could get him the ball, they do. Fakes the shot, goes up, he's blocked. Shot is going to be blocked and saved in the corner by Handy. And now a timeout called by Nooksack Valley. Well, Toledo had a chance. They got it inside, but the shot blocked. And now here comes Nooksack Valley. We'll see if they try to run it down. King gives on the right side to Skillman. Skillman brings it up between the rings, being chased by Rocco. Game tied at 28. 1:10 to play. The winner moves to the championship game tomorrow night here in the Sun Dome in Yakima. Skillman out front. Looks to the right side and will get it there to Handy. And then now it looks as though Nooksack Valley will try to run the clock down with 55 seconds to play. Here's Toledo nearly into a double team. Looking into the corner, they get it to Mitchell. Mitchell, their 6'8" player, has only 2 points here tonight. Double team out front, 42 seconds to play. Skillman off the dribble, push foul. That'll be the 4th team foul on Toledo. So Toledo has still 2 fouls to give before putting the Pioneers from Nooksack Valley to the line. Rocco's will come back and challenge Skillman. Skillman terminates the dribble, gives to Zavala in a reach foul here. They would have a pretty good opportunity here with 32 seconds to let him run the clock all the way down and not get a very good shot off. They still have 1 foul to give. 25 seconds to play. Nooksack Valley with the ball. Zavala gives it in the far wing, and it's going to be stolen by Yates. Toledo with 18 seconds to go. They stole it in the front court. They give it off to Vota. Vota dribbles it all the way down the lane. Stops. Left side, Rocco's. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. 5. Yates down the lane. He's tripped up and a pretty good foul. With 3 seconds to go, Toledo will inbound just off to our right. They will have 3 seconds in which to negotiate a shot. Otherwise, we could be headed to overtime. Rocco's looking in, looking, finally gets it into Vota. Vota in traffic, loses the handle, the horn sounds, and we're going to overtime. Up here as we go to overtime, tied at 28 in the boys. Semifinal, the first of 2 semifinal games tonight. Mitchell at 6'8", jumps with Vota. The tip controlled by Nooksack Valley, and running down and throwing up the lay-in is Handy. So in the overtime, Nooksack Valley takes a quick 2-point lead at 30-28. And this game very low scoring tonight because of the deliberate play of Toledo, and plus a lid on the basket at times when the 2 teams have attacked the window. Only 2 points in the 4th quarter by Toledo. They only had 2 points in the 2nd quarter. Here's King spinning to within 15 feet. His shot no good. Rebounded, picked out by Vota. Vota down the lane, goes with a shot, and he's fouled. Zamorano got it, handled it off to Vota, then he went down the lane and is fouled. He'll shoot 2. First one on the way, a high off the glass, no. Vota 2 for 4 from the line here tonight. Free throw up, this one good. It's a 1-point lead for Nooksack Valley, 30-29. 30-29, 3:15 to play in this first overtime period. Hobbs in the near corner. Now ball out front now, Zavala. Zavala would give to Handy. Brett Handy goes right side to Skillman. Skillman being guarded there by Rocco. Spins to the high post. Nearly got his pocket picked by Yates, and now they throw it away. High post to low post. and they throw it into the girls' side of the court. And it's 30-29 on the turnover. The Pioneers' 7th of the half, 14th of the night. Ball goes over to Toledo. They'll bring it up left to right. King will walk it across the King Dome court emblem here. The old King Dome court being utilized for the state WIAA championship since the King Dome was imploded. Boy, that's hard to believe. That's been, 8 years ago already. 2:28 to play in the overtime. 30-29, Nooksack Valley. King right now between the circles, guarded by Zavala. Gives the left side to Rockos. Rockos looks to Yates inside, can't get him the basketball. Now they give it to Rockos on the left wing. He thought about triggering up a three, doesn't take it. Instead, they come back out to King. Nearly 2 minutes gone here in the 4-minute overtime period. King, right side to Yates, back to King. Again, Nooksack with a 1-point advantage here. Zavala and Votov both posted up high. Here's King, right side Yates, right corner Votov. Thought about the three, doesn't take it, goes down the lane, banks it off the window. Votov with 3 points in the overtime. The lead goes over to the Toledo Indians, 31-30. They lead Nooksack Valley as we approach the 90-second mark of the second quarter. Here's the jump shot up, no good by Skillman, but he's fouled and will shoot two. And Rockos will be his first. That is the 16th foul. And Skillman to the line, hits the free throw, and we're tied. Skillman now with 16 points tonight for the Pioneers. Second free throw, no good. Rebound, Mitchell. Outlet, no. He walked with a basketball. And we are tied at 31. 90 seconds to play in overtime as Toledo brings the basketball up left to right. King brings it over and hands to Rockos. Rockos fakes left, comes right, goes back left. Now terminates the dribble. Rockos comes to King. King being chased by Zavala. Down the lane he goes. The ball bounced off of his leg, but he picks it right back up and gives to Rockos. And now Yates will come into play. Again, very deliberate, slow play tonight by Toledo. They didn't want to get into this up and down run game with this very tall Nooksack Valley team that can get out and run because they've got some thoroughbreds at their three guard spots, and they've got two guys who can rebound inside nicely in Mitchell and Hobbs at 6'8" and 6'6". So after the timeout, Toledo has now used up a minute of the 91 seconds that were remaining. Down the lane, pull up, Rockos, jump shot, no. Zamorano with a rebound. He has it stolen, saved into the hands of Toledo, and a foul called. It's on Mitchell of Nooksack Valley. Mitchell called for his fourth. And Yates with a couple pressure-packed free throws potentially coming up. He will shoot 1 and 1. Yates, first one up, no good. Threw it up too hard. Mitchell with a rebound for Nooksack Valley. For 3 points here in this overtime period. Tied at 31 in backcourt. Toledo has no fouls to give now. The ball into the hands of Beard. On the right wing to Zamorano. Back out front to Handy with 7 seconds. 6 seconds. Zavala on the right wing, and the timeout called with only 5 seconds to go. He inbounded near midcourt by Nooksack Valley. They try to win it here. 5 seconds to play. 5. Inbounds it comes. 4 stolen by King. King with 2. 1 shot up. No, but a foul called. And Toledo, with no time on the clock, will send King to the free throw line to shoot free throws unless they say the game ended before the foul. They're going to say no. They're going to say shooting free throws with no time. And Jason King came up with a steal as Nooksack Valley tried to get the basketball into Skillman. He tried to drive, and in doing so, had the ball picked by Jason King. He raced down court, laid it up, and a foul called right as the clock reached 000. But I think the foul came before the horn sounded. At least we didn't hear it here. Now they say there's no time on the clock, and King will step up and shoot 2 shots. He only needs one. He only needs one. King, free throw, up, good! Game over! Toledo is headed to the state championship. Toledo has won it on a free throw with no time left in overtime. A Jason King steal, a Jason King lay-in attempt. He's fouled. He goes to the line, hits the first of 2 shots, and Toledo will play for the state championship tomorrow night here in the Sun Dome in Yakima. A wild, wild finish here tonight as Toledo wins it. The final score, Toledo 32, Nooksack Valley 31. Welcome back to the Sun Dome, where the Toledo Indians have advanced to the state finals tomorrow night here in the Sun Dome as they pull off an upset win. I would call it an upset win, even though it's in the semifinals, because, again, this was a David versus Goliath type of matchup on paper, and that is all. Because, again, as we talked with Scott a few moments ago, and as Bob Dow and I talked about yesterday, this is a very fundamentally sound basketball team. They rebound well, they play defense tremendously well, and they shoot free throws well, as proven down the stretch there by Jason King, who went to the free throw line with no time on the clock and gave Toledo the win over Nooksack Valley 32-31. As, again, Nooksack Valley had an opportunity, as Scott alluded to. They called a timeout with 5 seconds left. It allowed Toledo to set up a defense, and when they inbounded, they just collapsed on Skillman and Handy, and they took the basketball away, and with about 3 seconds to go, King was at midcourt racing down and being chased by some Pioneers, and boy, it looked like the Indians were maybe going to get the scalping of their lives as they went underneath, but King is there to lay it up off the glass as the horn sounded and the foul called on Nooksack Valley, and King goes to the line and wins it for Toledo. So Toledo now will play tomorrow night in the state championships. Tonight's post-game wrap-up here on KMNT being brought to you in part by L&E Bottling, your soft drink distributor of choice for Southwest Washington. Drink Dr. Pepper from L&E Bottling. By GC's Truck Stop, low gas prices, along with truck repair and a 24-hour restaurant at Bigfoot Country off of Exit 57 in Toledo. GC's Truck Stop. By Toledo Pharmacy, the friendly staff operate prescription service, gift ideas, and more. Along with Denny McNally, your farmer's insurance agent in Toledo. Farmers, they get you back where you belong. And Cedar Village IGA, your hometown grocery store in Winlock that's hometown proud. And right now they're having some playoff specials. They may even mark them down even farther now that Toledo is playing for the state championship tomorrow night. Here's a look at the individual happy totals tonight. First of all, for Nooksack Valley in their loss, they were led by the 16 points of Rich Skillman. Skillman with 11 points in the first half, 5 in the second half. And not a lot of scoring from the big men, as Toledo was really outsized inside in the post, with Hobbs at 6'6" and Mitchell at 6'8". They combined for only 6 of their 31 points. 4 for Hobbs, 2 for Mitchell. In fact, Hobbs scored the first 4 points of the game, you may remember, and then didn't score the rest of the way. Also scoring 7 was Brett Handy, but again, 2 points for Zavala, 2 for Mitchell, and 4 for Hobbs. Their big guys did not score against this Toledo defense tonight. For the Toledo Indians, Ryan Vota leads the way with 17. He had 10 in the second half. And also scoring, Jason King with 6. He had 5 until he untied it at the end with no time on the clock. Callan Rocco's ended with 4. Zamorano had 2. And Jared Yates with 3 for the Toledo Indians. Total rebounds tonight, the Pioneers of Nooksack Valley out-rebound Toledo 25-16. There were 14 fouls against Nooksack Valley, 7 against Toledo. The assists were even at 4 apiece. Turnovers, 15 by Nooksack Valley, 7 for Toledo. And block shots, as you might imagine, Nooksack Valley with those tall timbers, they had 4 block shots here tonight. And from the floor, as a team, Nooksack Valley 8 of 12, 67% in the first half. And for the game, they were 46%, 13 of 28. Toledo, on the other hand, 37%, hitting 12 of 33. From beyond the arc, 3 of 10, 30% for Toledo, 2 of 4 for Nooksack Valley, and even 50%. And for the first time in a long time, no points off of either bench. So that's just about going to do it. Again, the Toledo Indians win the semifinal here tonight against Nooksack Valley, and they will move on and play the winner of the Brewster Meridian game that is going to be played here tonight at 9. This program reminder that coming up in about 45 to 50 minutes from right now, unless they're running behind in Spokane, the Mossy Rock Girls, the Lady Vikings, will take on Waterville, and you'll hear all of the action right here on KMNT. Quarter by quarter, it went like this. Toledo led it at the end of the first 8-minute mark at 13-9. They only scored 2 points in the second quarter. They only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter, yet they come up with a win. They trailed at halftime 19-15. They regrouped to take a 2-point lead at the end of the third quarter, 26-24, but Toledo, trying to ice it, spread the court and came up with only 2 points in the fourth quarter compared to the 4 points for Nooksack Valley. We were tied at 28 going into overtime. A field goal by Vota, a free throw by Vota, and then with no time on the clock, King was fouled as time was winding down to triple zeros. King goes to the free throw line with nobody on the stripe, hits the free throw, and Toledo wins at 32-31. Only 3 points in the overtime for Nooksack Valley, and again 4 for Toledo. So the boys' championship game, if you're coming over White Pass tomorrow night, will start at 9 o'clock here in the Yakima Sundome. For KJ and Nat George, our engineer, I'm Larry Miner, reminding you once again the final score. Toledo 32, Nooksack Valley 31. Good night from Yakima.
The Washington State 1A Boys Basketball Playoffs, a presentation of KMNT Sports, brought to you by Toledo Pharmacy, Denny McNally with Farmers Insurance, GC's Truck Stop, Cedar Village IGA, Westside Rock Products, Bar None Construction, L&E Bottling with Dr. Pepper, and Advocate Printing.